It predicts your commute. It curates your music. It even finishes your sentences. The AI woven into our daily lives can feel like magic, a silent partner that anticipates our needs and simplifies our world. We've wrapped it so deeply into our routines that we barely notice it's there anymore. From the smart home devices that keep us comfortable, to the navigation apps that steer us around traffic, to the algorithms tracking our health on our wearables, it's a constant, invisible presence. A helpful force, making everything faster, easier, and more efficient. But behind all this seamless convenience lies a pretty dark secret about how the magic trick is actually performed. A secret with alarming consequences for our future. It's a double-edged sword, and we've been so mesmerized by the sharp, shiny side that we've completely ignored the other. We've been told the big risk is some sci-fi apocalypse with killer robots. But the real danger isn't lurking in the distant future. It's already here, hiding inside the very technology we feel like we can't live without. So, what is the real price of all this convenience? What's the secret hiding in the code? We decided to look under the hood, and what we found is an ethical time bomb just ticking away. To get it, you have to start with something called the black box problem. In AI, a black box is the fact that for many of the most advanced models, even the engineers who build them can't fully explain how they reach their decisions. It's not that they forgot the recipe, it's that the system was never designed to keep track of its own work in a way a human can follow. Think of it like a master chef who whips up a mind-blowingly delicious meal but is totally incapable of writing it down. They know the result is perfect, but they can't tell you the exact measurements or the steps that got them there. Deep learning, the engine driving most modern AI, learns by spotting patterns in gigantic piles of data. It creates layers of digital neurons that weigh variables in ways that are just too complex for us to interpret. This lack of transparency is a feature, not a bug. It's what lets the AI find connections we would never see on our own. But it has a terrifying side effect. When these systems produce unwanted, biased, or just plain dangerous outcomes, it's incredibly difficult to figure out why. If a self-driving car suddenly swerves, or a medical AI misdiagnoses a patient, we see the end result, but we can't easily trace the flawed logic that led to it. This isn't just a tech puzzle, it's a huge ethical dilemma, because that black box is already making life-altering judgments about all of us. This brings us to the first ethical time bomb, the bias engine. Because AI systems learn from historical data, they can accidentally learn, copy, and even amplify the absolute worst of human biases. This isn't a what-if risk. It's a documented reality that's affecting people's lives right now. Take the world of hiring. For years, companies have used AI to sift through thousands of resumes, hoping to find the best candidates with cold, hard logic. But what happens when the AI is trained on a company's past hiring decisions? That's exactly what happened at Amazon. In 2014, the company started building an AI recruiting tool. The next year, they found a massive problem. The system was trained on a decade of resumes from a male-dominated tech industry, so the AI taught itself that male candidates were better. It actively penalized resumes that included the word women's, like captain of the women's chess club, and it downgraded graduates from 2 all-women's colleges. Amazon's team tried to fix it, but they couldn't be sure it wouldn't just find new ways to discriminate. In the end, they had to scrap the whole project. And this is far from a one-off thing. Lawsuits are piling up against companies for AI tools that allegedly discriminate based on race, age, and disability. A 2024 University of Washington study found that several leading AI models favored white associated names over black associated names 85% of the time, even when all the qualifications were identical. In healthcare, a widely used algorithm was found to dramatically underestimate the health needs of black patients. The AI wasn't looking at symptoms. It was using past healthcare spending as a shortcut for need. Because black patients have historically received less care due to systemic inequities, the algorithm concluded they were healthier than white patients with the very same conditions. The AI isn't evil, it's just a mirror, reflecting the biases in the data we give it. But unlike a person, it automates that discrimination at a massive scale, all under the cover of seemingly objective technology. So where does this contaminated logic come from? To find out, we have to look at the AI's original sin, the data it was built on. Modern AI gets its power from being trained on almost unbelievably large data sets. We're talking large language models, trained on trillions of words and billions of images. To get this data, AI companies turned to the biggest library of human information ever created, the Internet. They scraped vast portions of it, forums, news articles, social media, blogs, everything. A huge chunk of what we, as a species, have written, photographed, and uploaded became the textbook from which these new digital minds would learn. But the Internet isn't some pristine, objective archive. It's a chaotic, unregulated, and often toxic reflection of humanity, full of our prejudices, misinformation, and arguments. The AI learned from all of it. It learned our language, but it also learned our stereotypes. It learned to write a poem, but it also learned how to structure a convincing conspiracy theory. This is the very foundation our convenient digital assistants are built on. This leads to the second, and maybe more personal, ethical time bomb, the Great Data Heist. The truth is, a lot of this training data wasn't just public information, it was our information. Copyrighted art, personal family photos, private blog posts, and even sensitive medical forums were all swallowed up without the consent, credit, or compensation of their creators. Recent lawsuits have thrown this into the spotlight. Artists, authors, and news organizations are in major legal battles, arguing that AI companies committed mass copyright infringement to build their models. In a landmark German ruling in November 2025, the music society JAMA successfully sued OpenAI. The court found that because ChatGPT could reproduce protected song lyrics, its training on that material constituted unauthorized use, setting a major precedent. Your words, your pictures, your ideas, they've all become fuel for a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and you were never asked. This isn't just a problem for professional artists. It's a fundamental violation of privacy and ownership for all of us. The AI that suggests a recipe can do it because it learned from countless food blogs. The AI that writes a birthday card message learned from millions of personal conversations it was never invited to. This is the uncomfortable truth. The AI's intelligence is built on a foundation of what many are now calling theft. And with AI companies running out of new public data on the Internet, the temptation to get data by any means necessary is only going to grow. There's one more secret, one that connects the invisible world of AI to the physical world we all share. This is the third ethical time bomb, the staggering environmental cost. We think of AI and the Internet as being clean and weightless, just data floating in a cloud. But that cloud lives on the ground, in massive, football field-sized buildings called data centers. And these data centers have a ferocious appetite for two things: energy and water. Training a single major AI model can use an enormous amount of electricity and emit hundreds of tons of carbon. But the cost doesn't stop there. Every time you ask an AI a question, it uses up to 5 to 10 times more electricity than a simple Google search. The International Energy Agency projects that by 2026, the electricity consumption of data centers could nearly double what it was just a few years ago, driven mostly by AI. This surge is so intense, it's putting immense pressure on power grids and, in some cases, delaying the retirement of fossil fuel plants needed to meet the demand. And then there's the water. These data centers need mind-boggling amounts of fresh water for cooling. A single large data center can use between 1 and 5 million gallons of water a day. That's as much as a small town. This is putting a severe strain on local communities, especially in water-scarce regions, pitting the needs of big tech against the needs of local citizens and farmers. The convenience of generating an image from a text prompt is directly connected to draining an aquifer hundreds of miles away. This is the hidden physical price of our digital world. So this is the double-edged sword. The same AI that simplifies our to-do lists is built on a foundation of bias, data exploitation, and a massive environmental footprint. This isn't a future robot apocalypse. This is a clear and present danger to fairness, privacy, and our planet's resources. The danger isn't that AI will get too smart and decide to take over. The danger is that we are building our future on a technology we don't fully understand, that we know is biased, that was created through questionable means, and that has a devastating environmental cost. We are automating inequality, outsourcing our creativity, and paying for it with the planet's most precious resources. As these tools get more powerful and more integrated into critical systems, from criminal justice to finance to healthcare, these hidden problems will create consequences that are impossible to ignore. We're at a crossroads, and we have to confront the true cost of our own progress. The convenience is amazing. The power of this technology to help solve some of the world's biggest problems, from discovering new medicines to fighting climate change, is very real. But we can't afford to be naive about the trade-offs. The code is not neutral, the data is not objective, and the cloud casts a very real shadow. As this technology gets more powerful by the day, we have to ask a fundamental question. Are we building a future that truly serves humanity, or one that just reflects our past mistakes, automated and amplified for generations to come? The answer will define the next chapter of our society. What's the biggest AI time bomb you're concerned about? Let us know in the comments below.